to the Protean Pavilion here at the Global FinTech Fest 2025. Our next trialogue dives into a subject that's fast becoming a mission critical for digital infrastructure. The future of API management, AI-powered zero trust in a multi-cloud world. With over 50 billion API calls being processed every day across India's fintech and governance platforms, API management is no longer just a back-end function. It's now at the front line of innovation and security. As multi-cloud adoption grows, the convergence of AI and zero-trust architecture is transforming how APIs are built, monitored, and protected. Joining us to decode this evolution are two industry leaders, Mr. Harsh Jha, CTO Nuvama, who brings deep expertise in building secure and scalable financial platforms, and Mr. Madhusudan Jain, CEO of Yappes, a pioneer in API lifecycle management and developer-first ecosystems. Moderating this discussion is Mr. Nehal Gandhi, AVP Cloud and InfoSec at Protean. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Over to you, Nehal.
Thank you, Jovan. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Harsh, and thank you, Madhusudan Ji, for joining for this discussion. Today is the first day of GFF, and we plan to unveil some really good solutions to all the fintech community available here. And I'm taking the opportunity to do that through good hands of Mr. Harsh and Madhusudan Ji. Yeah, so let's jump into our today's agenda. Harsh Ji, I think APIs are no longer something like a pipeline. It has now become central to the finance industry, fintech industry, the community. It has become more of a product or parameter, or you can say it is really defining the policy enforcement also. So looking at that scenario, it is also unveiling a lot of challenges in the fintech community or the overall BFSI industry, be it compliance related issues or security related issues, cyber security related issues. And many times companies and large organizations, we have been seeing that they really struggle even to know how many APIs are there within their organization. So that's what called for a discussion like this, where we can really bring about something which is very useful to the community, and we can provide some kind of thoughts from leaders like you here, and we'll take it from there. So taking this as a clue, I just wanted to understand, Harsh, you come from a financial leader like Edelweiss and over more than 20-30 years of experience in the industry. What kind of API strategies normally your organization follows, or you would say BFSI industry should follow?
Great. Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you. That's actually a very relevant question at this point of time, because now, if you look at financial services, we extensively integrate with different service providers, regulators, exchanges, depositories, a lot of partners who do, who help us in onboarding, because digitally we are a very advanced country now with the features we have with the India stack and everything. So there's a large ecosystem of APIs. It's a big web of APIs, and API security has become a very large concern. Even when you look at the regulators, whether it's SEBI, whether it's RBI, all of them have very clear guidelines around API aggregation, inventorizing them, and securing them as well. So for us, if you look at it, number one, you should look at your regulatory guidelines, and all regulators at this point of time have very clear and distinct guidelines saying inventorize your APIs. You should see what's being used, what's not being used, because the biggest last threat for you are your stale APIs. So that's something. You shouldn't have a very cluttered gateway of APIs. So of course an API aggregation is of extreme importance. when we are doing so, we basically picked up. We built at one point of time, ESB would do a lot of this work, but ESB was a very generic concept, plus extremely heavy to run. And that's where API aggregation as a concept came in, and now it's I think a necessity across financial services, across your regulations for security. That's how we typically would look at it and strategize it.
Great, great. But I understand from the technology perspective, you really shared a good perspective, good point of view. But are these becoming really a board discussions also, because it is becoming central to the overall business ecosystem? So how are these discussions happening in the boardroom?
Across the, I would say these are conversations across the board. So you go for a regular discussion with the business teams, and they would any conversation, it comes out saying that uska to API hoga na, why don't you integrate with an API? And these are very standard convention. I think even a lot of kids, they would do this. So and of course when we reach the boardroom, with the newer regulation and everything, they would ask simplest questions, people are unable to answer, where they say, how many in my organization, how many APIs do I have?
That's where we start.
So it's an important, and how are you securing them? How many of them are stale? How AI-based threats, because the newer cyber threats are extremely, the APIs are really targeted through these AI-based tools, and securing them about it, updating them from time to time, that's very important.
Correct. Thanks first for sharing that. So taking that as the launch point of view, we are here announcing the launch of API lifecycle management with Yappes technology and Protean integrated cloud offering today here. And I would say the biggest contributor and the thought leader, I would say Mr. Madhusudan Jain is here with us. So Madhu, I just wanted to take design thesis behind this API lifecycle management, and your thought behind coming along with Protean Cloud. Please share your thoughts.
First of all, good afternoon, everybody, and Nehal, thank you. And Harsh, that was a great lead into this conversation. So thanks for that, sharing the insights. So from a design thesis standpoint, we are a secure first by design. That is the principle we follow, and that is what the platform will allow you to do throughout the entire life cycle of the API. So when you're thinking about design, publish, secure, monitor, and all the way up to retirement, design should be a key component of that exercise. So we are secure by design is our first principle. The second principle is we are a zero trust is our DNA. We make sure that the identity management is strong. The verification happens on a continuous basis as well. So therefore everything is embedded into whatever is being checked. So that's the second point. The third point in terms of the platform itself is about the sovereignty and the regulation part of it. We are driving towards India first innovation. We are trying to make API governance to be India centric, and we are also trying to make through this both from a Yappes standpoint, which is entirely made in India, and in a partnership with Protean, which is a sovereign cloud, to comply with both of these aspects, which is sovereignty of data and sovereignty of API management and governance. So when you take these 5 principles together, pretty much that is what the design is what we are kind of going with when we are sort of bringing this platform to everybody in partnership with Protean.
Thanks Madhu. So I think you covered most of it, but I would again emphasize you on a point that what makes our joint proposition, that Protean and Yappes, stronger as compared to our competitors in the market or the products which are already available in the market. What is it, the uniqueness that you would like to highlight?
So first and foremost, right, Yappes is a unified platform, which means the suite of products that you see are all unified. They are tightly integrated, which means anything which is related to any kind of fragmented tool sets, fragment of data sets, etc. is taken away. So your job is much easier. You got one platform which takes care of everything. That reduces your security profile. That also reduces the method of managing your different tools to manage the APIs on an ongoing basis. Second, trust principle is very core to what we do. Not only do we make sure that every API is secured, we want to make sure that every transaction is secured. We want to make sure that every customer is sort of onboarded, which means that there is no anonymous access and the zero trust principle is followed all through and throughout. And the third and the most important part between Protean and Yappes is a shared vision. So what we believe in jointly is that this is an India first proposition. What we and as a part of that, what we want to drive is that we are a sovereign cloud. You get a sovereign cloud. You get a Sec DevOps alignment. You get security, which is both on the cloud and on the platform that we are sharing. We are going to deploy on the platform as well. And then finally, of course, we are very affordable compared to a lot of the other players that are out there. And that also goes with Protean because they are run on green data centers. They drive a lot of the innovation around cloud centers and data centers. So those are the 2 or 3 main things why this partnership really stands out, makes it very unique for anybody, especially the Indian BFSI sector. And the last part is the compliance part. So as Harsh mentioned, right, there are 3 main regulators in the country for the BFSI sector: RBI, SEBI, and IRDAI. Combined all of them, there is a big push to sort of get the security of the entire ecosystem on which the business is running. And there is a big component of that is the API security part of it. And that out of the box comes from Yappes for the APIs, number 1. And Protean Cloud, of course, provides the compliance and the regulatory framework that is required from a cloud standpoint. So anybody looking at this option just gets a fully compliant and secure right out of the box. Thank you.
Thanks, Madhu. So taking the clue from Madhu, Harshji, one more question to you. So if we are, since we are introducing the product like this, emphasizing more on the sovereignty of the data, how does industry folks, including your competitors or Nuvama's competitors, look at it, and how would they will be able to change the strategies? What would be your views? Will this be a valuable offering from their point of view and your point of view?
I'll tell you. See, the securing an API, has 2-3 aspects to it. It's not only just the payload which you look at or monitor your payload. It is also about your API. Someone could be, exploiting your API by just doing too many calls. So throttling is extremely important. Throttling of it, monitoring of payload, and now with the world, how as a business differentiator, that's how we see it, is where I would say that if if a lot of my businesses depend on APIs, I would be whatever account I was at one point of time would take me a 7-day to open. Now I can open it in few minutes. How do I do that? It's the APIs and everything which whirls in this. Now it's also the time. Now if you look at people doing, there's a recent circular by SEBI where they want to increase the retail participation of algo trading. Now, how would that be enabled? Those are also through APIs, and these have to be so this is like APIs are becoming like earlier there was a cost to APIs or exposing them. These are becoming profit centers for us now. So there will be a very big. I see an explosion of doing this. However, securing them, managing them itself is a cost. So if I get a tool like this, I would be able to do a lot of those functions together, which includes my throttling. It's a centralized gateway. I see the life cycle of it. I can sunset, bring in new ones, with very standard protocols as well.
Thank you, Harsh. And that brings to the last question to both of you. Since we are in the Kumbh Mela of FinTech, you can say the GFF, what would be the one single most important advice you would like to give to the FinTech community here? Harsh, you go first.
Yeah, anyways, I see the first thing when I came in, I went to the booth, which was on the third floor on the sides, where I love to meet these young guys, and because they have studied AI, and they've you know that's the foundation as compared to us, where we've done a lot of traditional programming, and now we are learning AI. And of course there are pros and cons of it. They think everything in a very different way. However, we see a pros and cons, where I say that did I have to do it in the old way or the new way. I have that option. So couple of things. One I say is, at one point of time we had to master certain skills. I don't think now you have to master skills, because the tech is changing very rapidly. So that concept of saying I would master one C++ or master one Java now isn't applicable. Yeah, you should have the problem solving skills and pick up any new tool which just assists you cope. You have to be very friendly with we have very comfortable with the AI ecosystem.
Absolutely.
And you should, there are 2-3 things I advise to everyone, because it's the age of digital platforms. So one is saying be very you should have basic concepts of cyber security, little bit about cloud and hosting and other things, and of course your APIs and how they work and stuff.
Yes, over to you, Madhu.
After what he has shared, there's not much left for me to say. But in any case, the only one takeaway that I would say is that, think of security as a embedded function, not an afterthought. So the zero trust principle just goes to the heart of whatever is being done in the industry, regardless of the changing technologies. They are getting more and more sophisticated. The better prepared you are, the more safe you will be. And that directly translates into reputation, your customers, your stock market valuation, and whatever else. So it kind of becomes really something very basic, which kind of has an impact all the way through. So I would say zero trust, make that as a part of your embedded thought process, not something as an afterthought. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. So that brings end to our fireside chat. Thank you, Harshji, and thanks, Madhuji, for sharing your valuable insight. It was really, thank you for your valuable time. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.
very much.
Just